In today's video, we remove Laura's cylinder head. Then, we put it back on again. And I finally see the light. That's better. Now then, welcome to the video. Before we start, I'd like to say a big thank you, as always, to you likers, watchers and subscribers, because without you, well, I'd just be witching on to myself. I'd also like to thank you commenters from last week's video. Big thanks to Tom for pointing out the starboard from the port. I think that's right. Anyway, I'd also like to thank all those who said they enjoyed the cruise. It's one of my favourite cruises, actually. In today's video, we're removing and refitting the cylinder head on Laura's BMC engine. She's using quite a bit of oil, and that's not good. Now, we all know from bitter experience where Laura's engine is, but for those of you who don't know, let's have a look at where we went. Well, it's here, right underneath the pointy screwdriver pencil. Better crack on then. It's engine fettling time again. Sorry about the glasses, I ran over my other ones, so I've had to borrow the wife. So you'll all be familiar, if you've watched earlier videos, with our engine woes. Starting with the injection pump over there by the waffy hand there. The next thing that went were the injectors, so all them were replaced. We've had a new diesel injection pump, and that stopped all the diesel from leaking into the sump. We ran the boat to test her out and checked all the vital fluids and found there was no oil left in her. The only thing that's left now for us to do is to take the head off. So, what do we have to do to take the head off? Well, we've got to remove loads of stuff. So, this has got to go. This has got to go. These have got to be taken off. All this, some wiry bits, exhausty bits, and the head itself. It's a big job, but I think we can tackle it. Now, you might think that burning a bit of oil isn't that bad. Well, it's not really, and these things usually smoke anyway, but when you're doing in 4.5 litres for every hour and a half of cruising, it can be a bit much. And this stuff is 21 quid a tin. That's 21 quid an hour. I think we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and get it done. Let's crack on. Right, okay, so first thing I'm going to do is suck out some of this coolant from in here into this container over here, and then we can remove the expansion tank, and then the swearing can begin. Cut, love. So that's the expansion tank empty. Let's try and get all this rubbery pipe worky stuff off.
Rubbery pipe worky stuff off.
13mm spanner. Oh, where have I put that?
Where you put what?
13mm spanner. 13mm spanner here at the end a minute ago. Oh, there it is. I've just taken this nut off from the bottom of the exhaust, and you can see there's residue of some sort all over my fingers, which is what was happening. Was a lot of oil was being pushed, wow, diesely oily stuff was being pushed through the exhaust and out the exhaust pipe. It's leaking from the bottom of there, which makes me think that the gasket weren't great. Gooey. Yummy. It's minky. That's that one loose. Typically, they're not all the same size.
Yep.
Well, there we are. That's a heat exchanger off with minimal swearing. Next thing, rocker box, some bits and bobs over there, and then the cylinder head. Okay, so the rocker box is off, and we're going to have to take these off as well. For the life of me, I can't remember what they're called. I used to do. Anyway, they've got to come off, so we can get these bolts underneath this rod here, so we can get the head off. As you can see, everything else came off with a minimal amount of swearing. Better crack on then, eh? Oh, it slipped down again. Oh, don't start slipping down again. I'm nearly there.
Oh, I can see a gap.
All them things are wet through. Got to do some drying out in there. I'm going to leave that on, push it all the way down, and then we'll have to clean all that out with a sucky hoovery thing. Well, after some serious swearing and a lot of hard thrutching about in this tight little engine room space, the head is finally off. Let's have a sneaky peek. And this is the cylinder head. I've left the injectors on and the glow plugs there, and the thermostat housing, so that's going to go away tomorrow morning to get a bit of a refurb, and we'll see what the problem was. And that there is the engine block with everything out. I don't know if you can see, the light's not brilliant in here, but that's better. There you can see I've stuffed the barrels there with nappies to get any moisture that's dripped into there out. That'll soak all that up, and I've got a little bit of water and oil in the bilge there. That'll all come out, and there we have it. After much palaver, the head was finally off. It took 4 or 5 weeks for me to get the head back. The company that I took it to were having real trouble getting the parts. But once it were done, I sold off a few family heirlooms and Julie paid the bill. And then we could fit her right back on again. Now, just as this happened, I had a call from the docks that I had to have another emergency operation on this stupid finger. This left me in a bit of a quandary. How was I going to fit the cylinder head with just one functioning hand? Well, let's have a look at how we did it. And here we have the fully refurbished BMC head waiting to go in to there. There we go, the new cylinder back on.
Woohoo!
Yeah, all my own work.
No, it's the boy.
It's in then, with a little bit of help from my lad Matt. Thanks Matt, there's a pint in it for you. But as you were driving, I drank it for you. And with that, all we had to do was turn the key and she would fire into life. Did she, buggery? I had to call an engineer out in the end. And who did I call to help me with this issue? Well, a chap called John Eastham. And for a small fee, he stood and watched as I solved the issue. The actual cause of the issue was the tappets. They hadn't been reset after I'd fitted the head, and because the head had been skimmed, it's lower. So what was happening is the conrods were pushing on the valve springs, so all the valves were open, so I could get her firing, but she wouldn't keep going. I'd like to thank John very much for not laughing his head off at me. So that about wraps it up. The engine's back running. So what's next for Barely Floating? Will we sail? Will we drive? Will we walk? Here's a sneaky peek. Oh, picnic bench. Oh, that looks inviting. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you click that little bell icon, YouTube will mind you next time we release one. Well, that's everything on my list for this week. Till next time.